We are the champions of the world. In this room there's a stack of champions, world champions, whether they are people who can run fast, drive a car fast, punch hard, kick hard, world champions at a sport. And if you've got a sport that you love and you want to get really good at it, there's obviously lots of specific things that you have to do, apart from probably having great genetics and a talent and a skill for that particular sport. But you then have to apply discipline and focus and commitment and all the things that make elite athletes what they are. One of the things that's really interesting about sport that I'm dealing with on a daily basis, and if you're involved in sport you will be too, is the politics of sport. And it doesn't matter whether it's car racing or martial arts or rhythmic gymnastics or sports aerobics or any sport you can mention, from the elite Olympic level right down to the grassroots community under sevens football team. Every single sport has politics involved. Some kind of political agenda. So whether it's people who want power, people who want control, people who want their child to be in the team, not somebody else's child. It could be a cultural thing, it could be a money thing. There's just so many reasons why sport is not always about the skill and talent of the sport. So if you want to reach the elite level of sport, or if you want to play at the top level of sport that you're aiming for, how do you avoid the politics? Can you avoid the politics? Can you avoid the judges that are biased? Can you avoid what we would term as unfairness or cheating in sport? How do you make sure that if you're a parent with a child involved in sport, or you want to be a sports person yourself, or you are a sports person, what do you do if you want to avoid all the rubbish that goes with the political side of sport? And there's a couple of really interesting things, and there are people in this room that have done this exceptionally well. It doesn't matter what sporting team, or doesn't matter what athletic pursuit, the game is always about winning. I know we hear a lot about it's just competing and make sure that you're involved in the sport and make sure that you get some kind of interaction in a team. But ultimately, a team sport or an individual athletic pursuit is all about winning. So if you are the very best at what you do, and that's one of the beautiful things about individual sport, where there's no judging, so it's not subjective. So if you're the fastest runner, you're the fastest runner. You won because you crossed the line first. If you're the fastest swimmer, it's because you touched the wall first. So there's no challenge there. You can be as political as you want in any of those sports, and both of those sports athletics and swimming are very political. But ultimately, if you cross the line first or you touch the wall first in an individual sport, there's no argument there. When it comes to team sport, it's obviously very different. And who gets picked on a team, and why do you get picked on a team? And I'll say this again, the ultimate aim of every competitive team sport athletic pursuit, doesn't matter what to do with sport, is about winning. So if you are going to make sure, if you're part of a team winning, or if you're the very best at what you do and you're going to help the team win, then politics usually takes a back seat. Some people argue with me and say, well, there are some horrible sporting boards and athletic boards that they pick their child, or they pick somebody that they really like, or they pick somebody from their country or their city, even though they're not the best at what they do. But that tends not to last very long. Ultimately, sport and athletics pursuits are about winning. So if you're going to make sure, if you're going to be part of the team or that association winning, then politics is much less likely to be a part of the rubbish that goes on in sport. And I'm sharing this with you because I have a gorgeous husband who competes in martial arts at the top level, international world champion, current right now, and has been for many, many years, and has hundreds of gold, silver, bronze medals at the world championship level. And he has to understand, and he does very, very specifically, that in his sport, because there are judges, it is a subjective sport. So if he fights in a country where all the judges are from that country and he's competing against somebody from that country, it's very unlikely that he will win. It doesn't matter how good he is at what he does, because that sport is judged, he may not win the medal, even if he's the best. So all he can do is make sure that he's the very best at what he does. He's highly prepared, highly trained, mentally ready, physically ready, fit, strong and healthy as he can possibly be, so that when he competes, the only reason he would ever lose is because the person he competed against is better than him, which is awesome, he loves that, or it's a biased situation because the judges or the judging system is unfair or biased, and he has to accept that in his sport. But the beautiful thing about most sports is that the winning part is the most important part. So if you show up for training and you're the very best out of everybody there, if you can run the fastest, kick the furthest, jump the highest, you're the best at that sport, you can usually overcome the political rubbish. And I'm sharing that with you because if you don't do that, if you don't commit and totally focus, committed, discipline to your sport, and you're just average, you will have to compete in the political part of the sport. Because if there's 20 people trying to get onto a team that's got 10 people on it, there's going to be all sorts of reasons why those 10 people get on, unless they're the very best. So if you are the best kicker, the best goalie, that you can run the fastest, there's every chance that you're going to get onto that team because you are the best at what you do. If you're average, if you don't put in 100% effort, if you are sometimes 100% switched on, but not all the time, then you have to compete with average, because that's what average is by definition, somewhere between the worst and the best. So if you sit in that middle bit, you'll have to compete with the middle bits. Obviously, if you're the worst, you won't get on the team, and if you're the best, you'll definitely get on the team. I'm sharing that with you because I hear a lot of excuses about, I'd love to do my sport, or I'd love to do that particular physical activity, but it's too political, or I don't win, or it's not fair. But ultimately, sport and athletic pursuits are about winning. And if you're the person that's totally committed to being the very best at what you do, the only reason you won't win is that beautiful reason, which is somebody is better than you, so they actually ran faster than you, or they swam faster than you, and it's obvious. Or if they're better than you at that sport, then you can use that as an example of how to get better. But please don't let politics become an excuse for you not being the very best at what you do, and loving the sport that you do. There's politics in everything, and I can't even explain what that means. It's some kind of power trip that people get on because maybe they're not playing the sport. I don't understand the politics of sport. All I know is that sport is about winning, and if you're the best at what you do and you're totally focused, committed, disciplined, you will win. And if you win, then you're less likely to be affected by politics. Isn't that awesome? Live your life to the max and be the champion of your life. So you can sing every day. I am a champion. I